What's good, everybody? We are back with another Call of Duty mobile video, and as you guys probably saw in the title, Zombies is here. We had a little bit of an update video yesterday, but today we're going to get into some actual strategy for Zombies. So as you guys know, if you've been subscribed to the channel for a while, I've already played out all the raid modes in Zombies, so I've really been wanting to try out the survival mode because that is really where the skill and the tactics start to come into play. So I got a squad together and we wanted to see how far up the leaderboards we could get, with the furthest round being round number 49 before Zombies expired, since it is a 2-hour and 40-minute game mode and not a truly unlimited one. We weren't quite able to take the top spot, but we actually did end up at number 2 on the leaderboard, and I feel like we learned a lot of lessons along the way of different strategies to play the game. And obviously, I'm not going to show you guys an entire 2-hour and 40-minute gameplay, but I wanted to go through some tips and tricks on how to get further in zombie survival, especially in Call of Duty Mobile, because the mechanics of the game are very different from past Call of Duties. Before we get into the video, I want to let you guys know that we are once again doing a giveaway for the Red Magic 3 gaming phone. All you guys have to do in order to enter the giveaway is simply hit the subscribe button and make sure to leave a comment on the video so that I am able to contact you guys once you have entered to win the giveaway. But anyway, we are going to go ahead and hop into the actual gameplay for the video. So I'm going to assume the majority of you know the basic mechanics for Zombies, in that you're essentially trying to survive as long as possible. If you haven't played survival yet, I would definitely recommend trying out one of the raid game modes, as that's definitely a better way to go ahead and start learning the mechanics of the game. But there's a few really crucial aspects to the game and things that you want to know about very early on, especially because of how they're going to impact you once you get to the later points in the game. The first thing you need to know about is the mystery crate that you are able to open to get random weapons out of. Now, the reason this is important is because 2 of the best weapons in the game are available out of this crate, and they're going to play a really big role in the early rounds. The weapon you're seeing me using right now is the RPD, and one of the reasons that it's so important early on in the game is because it holds so many rounds. So it's not necessarily a super high damage weapon, but the more rounds that you have in a gun, obviously the less time that you spend reloading, and the most important aspect is being able to control zombies in this game. The less time that you spend reloading, the more time that you can spend controlling zombies, and in turn increasing the odds of you surviving and getting further in zombie survival. The next reason that the mystery crate is important is because of another gun that you're going to see right here, one that pretty much anybody who's played Zombies in the past knows about, and that is the ray gun. Now, I've actually had some conversations with people who are under the impression that the ray gun is not a good gun and that it actually needs to be buffed. That's probably because of improper use of the gun itself. The ray gun is the only weapon in Call of Duty Mobile that actually has splash damage, and because of that, it's going to come in handy, especially when you're doing something called training. Essentially, what that is getting a large number of zombies to follow you all at one time, either by shooting them or simply running past them and drawing their attention. Once you've grouped them up into a large group, you're going to be able to do a lot of damage because of the amount of splash damage that the ray gun does. Especially in early rounds, this is going to play a really important role because it's relatively easy to get the ray gun out of the random weapon box, and you're also going to have a lot more max ammo items that you can pick up that will allow you to go ahead and refill both your RPD and your ray gun. There are a couple important things that you're going to want to keep in mind. Number one, after a significant amount of uses, the random weapon box is actually going to move to a different area on the map. You can find out where it is by a giant blue beam up in the sky. It's pretty dang easy to see. Another important thing to note about the random weapon crate is that later on in the game, the ray gun and the RPD are going to become significantly less useful because you're going to be using larger and larger amounts of ammo, and as a result, guns are not going to become as effective if you can't quickly reload them, especially because max ammo pickups start to become more and more rare, and it also becomes more difficult to pull both the ray gun and the RPD out of crates, at least from my experience. It seems like later on in games, the odds of you pulling shotguns and snipers out of the crate become a lot more likely than you pulling the RPD or the ray gun. The next super important thing that you guys are going to need to know about Call of Duty Mobile Zombies is how to use the elevator in order to get down to the basement. This is really important because there are 2 perks that are going to be down in the basement, and there's a total of 7 perks in the entire game. There's a really good chance that if you don't go down there, you're going to be missing out on a super important perk that will likely help you get to the end of the game or into later rounds a lot faster. Especially Juggernog, in my experience, that has been the most important perk. And in our gameplay where we got to the 47th round, that was actually one of the underground perks. And it was actually super important for us to make it down there. As you can see, we pick up a speed colo right there. Essentially, all you have to do in order to get down to the basement and unlock the elevator is collect random parts that are scattered around on tables inside the main house. Once you've picked up all the parts, you can go to the elevator, which was shown right at the beginning of when we started talking about the elevator and the basement of the house. Once you've gone down there, you can get both of the perks that are definitely going to be necessary for you to be able to get to the later rounds of the game, which leads me to my next topic, which is you need to go get your perks as soon as possible. I'm not going to go into depth on what exactly each of the perks does because that's not the specific purpose of this video. Just know that they're all really important and that you need to have each and every one of them in order for you to get to the highest level possible in Call of Duty Mobile Zombies. There are different perks scattered throughout the map, so there are 3 located inside the main house, 2 of them being located down in the basement, and 1 on the top floor, that being the Quick Revive. Now, outside of Quick Revive, all the perks are relatively random in what building and place they're located, so there will be 2 down in the basement, and then the other 4 are located in the northwest, northeast, southwest, and southeast quadrants inside of the main buildings in each of those quadrants. They each cost at least 2,000 credits, so if you're going to retrieve one of them, definitely make sure that you have enough credits in order to do so, but that's definitely going to be something that you're not going to want to miss out on in order to reach the later levels of the game, because those play a huge role in boosting your damage and helping you to survive easier. The next thing you're going to need to do in order to get to the latest possible round of zombies in Call of Duty Mobile is make sure you're paying attention to your buffs and buying the right ones. Personally, my favorite ones are Rapid Reload, Attack, Weaknesses, and also Breakthrough. These increase your attack, your HP, and they reduce your reload time, so in my opinion, these are the best, but obviously each buff has its own perks, and they're all useful for their own different reasons, so depending on your playstyle or what you find most useful, you can let me know down in the comments which you prefer to buy. Once you've maxed them out, there is an additional boost that you can use as well that will allow you to add additional levels on top of the 5 base levels for a start of 5,000 credits, increasing each time. So obviously the majority of the points that you get in the game are going to be going toward buffs, especially early on, but each of them is capped at 10 levels each. So once you've maxed them out there's not really anything else that you need to do in regards to buffs. Which leads us to our final and probably most important tip in Call of Duty Mobile Zombies, and that is to maximize traps. Now, traps are going to be accessible a number of different ways. Essentially, they are signified by a bright green light if the trap is available to be used. Each and every trap inside the map is automatically going to one-shot any zombie that touches it. This is so important because especially at the later levels of the game, even if you have a massive amount of mobs going up against a ray gun, the ray gun still can't kill them as quickly as a trap can simply because it's automatically going to one-shot. This almost seems like a glitch because if you're able to bait the zombies correctly with your teammates, you can wipe out pretty massive amounts of mobs at really high levels really quickly because there's nothing the zombies can do about the traps. There are a couple things that you guys are going to want to note about how to use the traps and allow them to be most effective. Number one, I don't really recommend them for the early stages of the game, especially because you're trying to gain points and currency as quickly as you possibly can, and you don't gain points from zombies dying to traps. However, because in late game you pretty much have all the upgrades that you could really possibly need, it's not really necessary for you to gain currency, and because of that, traps are by far the most effective way to kill zombies, and especially once you've run out of ray gun ammo or RPD ammo, when you're getting to the stages where you're using up ammo really quickly, this will allow you to conserve ammo and also to kill mobs a lot faster. I could probably go on for another hour or so just giving you guys tips and tricks on things that will help you most in Call of Duty Mobile, but in the one run that we've made so far, I felt like those were the biggest things that I didn't really know at the beginning that I definitely wish I would have, because if we had, we probably would have been able to set the record, but hopefully we'll be able to do that and again in the future. So make sure to drop a like down below if you guys want to see us make another attempt at that. Like I said, you guys can take a look at the leaderboards if you would like to see us up there, and maybe by the time this video goes up, we won't even be number 2 anymore, but we were at least there for a little bit and definitely enjoyed our time at the number 2 spot. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below and subscribe to the squad if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.